Give it a little time.
The time right now. It's good. We're doing this a little weird today. We're at the governor's house, I guess better known as the governor's mansion. So we're kind of mobile microphones, mobile. Me holding this, which is weird looking, but it's fine.
I'm not wanting to be mobile. I'm not touching anything in this room.
Well, no, and you can't touch anything in this room, as Sarah so eloquently told us to keep our hands off of everything, basically.
You saw the first lady earlier?
This Sarah. She probably would too.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, she probably would too. Like I said, yes, I'm holding a pipe with a microphone on it, and it works. Kellen's got one too, and multiple microphones. So I kind of wanted to, thank you for letting us be here, Governor. We really appreciate it.
It's an honor. Thank you.
And the ironic thing about this podcast is it started this last year, and we thought we were going to just do this for a couple people and, maybe spread some message about what's going on with some programs in Tulsa, some nonprofits, ministry style things, and keep people kind of abreast of how they can be included, and then start to share some real stories about what happened in relationships and with people. And the thing just exploded. We're getting thousands of downloads, so we try to keep this thing as professional as possible now, because we thought we were going to be playing around. So we're still kind of playing around, but too many people are seeing it now, so we try to mind our P's and Q's. But we really appreciate you, Governor, giving us some of your time today. It's not that normal, to be honest, to be able to come into a place like this and talk to someone like you on this type of platform, because a lot of times people in your position aren't interested in authentic interactions and relationships, but you are that way, and you've been that way since day one. So it's not, we've had enough time now to see this isn't a play you put on. This isn't a part you play. You're just going to be you. And that's what we appreciate about you. So I want to just kick it off why we're being real about it. About 3 weeks ago now, you took some time and came over to a prison right outside of Muskogee, and you kind of sat and listened to inmates that are obviously incarcerated give business plans they worked on for 60 days. And they had business cards and they prepared a plan. Tell us a little bit about that experience for you. And also, I guess, tell us what would make someone like you, with the kind of schedule you have that I know is unbelievable, cut out that kind of time to go into prison and listen to incarcerated men.
Yeah, well, first off, man, thanks for having me on. And Bryan, me and you've been friends for a long time, and you're such a leader of men, and you're a connector. And so I just love your heart. We've come over, you've brought people to pray with me before as I'm going through different difficult decisions. And so just appreciate what you do for Oklahoma, for your friends, for the kingdom, for Tulsa. So keep going, man. You are you're an amazing person. And so, but yeah, when y'all invited me to that prison, if anybody watching has never got involved in prison ministry or working with the less fortunate, man, you ought to. It's so fun to give back and see that. It warms your heart. And so people need hope. They need something to work for. They need just maybe one person to come beside them to say, you can do it. Right. And we all need that in life. And we all need that pat on the back and that accolade that says, you can do it. You're worth something. And God has a plan and a purpose for you. And so that's my message to all of us, is that this is the first day of the rest of your life. You can choose to do what's right and move yourself forward, or you could be governor, and if you choose to do what's wrong, you can actually slide totally backwards. And so when I saw those, you gave me that opportunity to come down there, and we also set up Bryan Bobeck, he's over my faith-based initiatives. Yep. And so we want to make sure that we open up our prisons to groups like yours to go walk with people. Because at the end of the day, I tell people all the time, you can't pass a law in Oklahoma City or Washington, D.C. that actually changes people's lives. You need the churches and you need neighbors walking with neighbors that actually change lives. And so the more we can bring hope throughout our school system, throughout our prison incarceration system, our DHS system, the foster care system, those things matter. And if the governor, when the governor shows up, it brings some gravity to it. And not that I'm anything special, but the position. And so it's just so fun to meet those people and those men that were given their business plan. And you saw them. They were all so pumped that the governor was there. They were all talking about, they couldn't believe it. And so I really enjoy that. Because, I mean, growing up in Oklahoma my whole life, I didn't know any governors, never met governors. And so I forget about that when you go places. A lot of times it's the first time you get to really sprinkle fairy dust on school kids and encourage them that they can accomplish anything they set their mind to. And that includes people coming out of prison.
Well, I want to focus too when you said they were surprised the governor was there, because if you're looking from the outside in, you did a couple interviews, right? But we were on the inside because we were running a Shark Tank. They were pitching their business ideas, how they were going to set their skill sets up and why you should invest in them. And so you actually sat in front of the top 5. They walked all the way through how they do an intro. I mean, it was an hour worth of stuff, and you interacted with them personally. What was that like for you, being 5 feet from them, why they pitched their business idea to?
I mean, listen, I was like, I'll invest in you right now. You guys chose the top 5 and then presented them in front of the whole group. And so they were polished. They were to the point. They had their 2-minute sales pitch down, elevator pitch, so to speak, and things that you learn in business school and how they're differentiating themselves and how they were better than the competition. And now all they got to do is go execute and work hard and they can accomplish these things. And so it was really special to see. And they were just so hopeful and they were wanting to put their past behind them. And as a society, a lot of these people are going to get out of prison. And so we don't need to hold them back. We need to help promote them. They get back to being contributing people in society.
Well, Governor, I wasn't going to get mushy, but you started this thing out kind of mushy. So, we got to tell you, first of all, it's an honor to be here. And you're right, we have been friends a long time. And, we love you like family. I appreciate your family. But something that people have got to remember that when you have good people around you, which is something we talk about on here all the time, when you have good people in your network and good people around you, that's not just business. We become friends, we get close. And so when people need to learn from us, they want to pay all this money to come to a seminar and learn how to do business. Well, right here is how you do it. You build real relationships with people you actually care about. And when you reciprocate that leadership and the things you can learn from people, it starts to cycle and you help each other. So I appreciate what you do for us as well. You've over the course of not only your business life, your life as a servant here, and then obviously the more important place that you serve, which is at home with your wife and kids, which everyone knows is super hard. That's the hardest job we have. You put on a display in a clinic on being a leader. Not perfect. You're capable of making mistakes, but you're always the first to own them. I appreciate your humility for sure. Which leads me into my next thought is you touched on it a little bit. As you and I sat front and center at the prison, I saw you moved, not from a place of checking your phone or your smartwatch. You were dead eyes on these dudes, and I was kind of with you. I thought, man, it's a busy time. We're kind of moving, but those guys were so good in the effort that was put in. I was personally moved by the environment that I've already been in. I saw you moved even to an emotional place as these guys, one after one, said, "We've never met a governor. I can't believe a governor's here." And that was worth its weight in gold, by the way. That right there, most of those guys in that room will tell their kids and grandkids about that 1 hour that they spent. How does that make you feel? Because you're going to be a pretty humble dude about where you've come from and what you've done, but you've done and accomplished a lot of things. And I know that we are collectively going to give a lot of thanks to God on that. He's blessed you and put you in great position, but you've stepped up to the plate too. How did that make you feel as I saw you moved to an emotional place face to face with prisoners, that's a pretty rare moment. Even for those of us who know you, that was rare for me too. I was moved emotionally watching you be moved emotionally. Can you remember that and tell me a little bit about how you felt?
Yeah, I mean, going back there, I have been blessed, and I go back to hope. We all need hope, and so if the Lord's put me in this position to deliver a little bit of hope to these individuals, I want to be obedient to my calling and what I'm supposed to do. I also think a lot about my journey, my American dream. My parents poured into me. Some of these individuals that are incarcerated, some of them probably had good parents, but some of them came from a really, really tough background. And so we just want to encourage them that they can still achieve their American dream. And this idea in our country that through hard work and through an education, you can do anything that you set your mind to do. And everybody's American dream might be different. It might be they want to coach, they want to get out so they can coach their daughter's soccer team, or they want to be part of starting another prison ministry. There were guys there that were very successful that had been incarcerated, and now they're coming back showing these young men what's possible on the other side. And that is so encouraging to see, because sometimes that our most difficult challenges are what the Bible says something to the effect of what the enemy meant for evil. I mean, I'll turn it into good for those that believe. And so if there's been a hardship that's happened in our life, if we trust the Lord, we can turn that into good, and God will use that experience that we had to go through, that painful experience in a lot of cases, to minister to others and to lead others to hope. And so, my job as governor and as father and as just a dude that's hanging out with my friends and trying to be a good witness. I'm in the trenches like you guys with everybody, and I'm just trying to be obedient and really following your lead. And when you told me about that, that Shark Tank opportunity, I thought, man, that'd be great. And hopefully now there's another 50 people next year that are about a year away from getting out of prison that'll participate in that program.
Right. Yeah, I think one of the powerful interaction, as I was sitting on the side and watching them interact with you, because there was a vulnerable moment where you were reliving all that, and then they got bold and they couldn't wait to call you out on your gratitude and what your next statement was. And I about died laughing the way that they presented it, right? I mean, it was a 10. They just came at you, and I love that. Was a kind of a reinstatement of value. And the governor's there to listen to what their next idea is, that hope, and the full intention, and give it value and tell them it's a great idea. And they did a fantastic job. They did. There's no participation trophies there. That wasn't a participation trophy event. We had winners and we had guys that worked their butts off, but it reinstated some value, don't you think? And how important is value, no matter where you're at in life, that you understand that you have value to moving forward? What does that mean to you?
You mean what do you mean about value?
For them to see that they're valuable.
Oh, yeah.
You took your time and sat in front of them and honored what they were doing and told them they did a great job. But just because they're in a prison doesn't mean that your time with them has any different value than time with somebody.
It's been amazing, like in life and in business, and I've noticed this. If not that but if you're a CEO or just anybody, if you're perceived to be, I'm up here and they're down here, they're a prisoner and then I'm the governor. But if I just come at them man to man and just person to person, and I'm just a real person, and I'm like, man, so proud of you, and I really try to, I don't have any kind of arrogance, and so when you really get down, people appreciate that so much, and I think people a lot of times are shocked about that, right? Because I was a guy in there that was encouraging them, and yes, I'm the governor, but when you can literally give them hope and tell them that, hey, I've been, if things went different in my life, or I made this decision early on, or if I made this, I could have ended up in prison, and instead I'm governor. I tell a story about a guy that I was really good friends with, and we were like best friends in 5th, 6th grade, and then he kind of started going off the wrong path in high school, and I had to separate myself in middle school and high school, and I became governor. and he ended up incarcerated in the state of Oklahoma. And I look back to the decisions that I made, and had I stayed with those friend groups, I could have gone down the path of drugs and alcohol and been over there, and ended up. He was one of the people that I'd signed the largest commutation in U.S. history back in 2019. Some low-level drug offenders, and little did I know at the time, but I ended up pardoning and my boyhood really good buddy. And I just think about that. Your friends are so important. The environment that you're in is so important. And nobody's going to make excuses for them. They make those decisions and they have to own that. But this is also the first day of the rest of their life. And they can choose from this point forward to change and go chase their American dream and accomplish anything that's in their heart to do. I'm no better than they are. God looks at us all the same, and we need to make good decisions going forward. And that's my message to them. And I could see that's what those those men were doing.
Right. You were looking over there. I hope is that Jeremiah 29:11 by chance?
Genesis 50,
What do you got?
20, which is what he was talking about was you intended it to harm me and for evil, but God intended it for good, and I'm here to help people out. So
Kevin, Thad's our fact checker.
slightly fact checker also.
Kind of like when everyone gets up to do their debates and everyone just starts saying whatever they want. Thad's kind of the guy that's like, well, actually,
just try to keep it on the rails a little bit.
I'm glad you pulled the scripture up.
Yeah, hey, that's good. I mean,
we were right on. So
you nailed it.
So thank you for having that, Thad. Not thank you for wearing that Cubs shirt, but thank you for
That's what it is.
having the verse go cards. So, Kevin, as I stood there, and I keep calling you Kevin, sorry, Governor. As we stood there, I feel bad, like I'm supposed to call you Governor, It's like, as we stood there, I noticed that the news channel had showed up, and of course they wanted to ask you a couple of questions, and I'm sure you and your staff and myself as well were kind of all nervous right away, like, what are they going to ask him now? Like, and what was cool is that guy actually wanted to be there. He had a really good positive outlook on what was happening. What was going through your mind? Because as I heard you sharing from your heart about, hey, of course I'm here today. These guys are people I'm going to show respect to, and we want them to understand that everyone's going to complain about they're out here causing trouble, but nobody wants to be a part of the solution in helping these men get back on track and be honorable men that are showing respect and getting respect, leading their kids and families. Tell me a little bit about what was going through your mind as they were asking you about it. It seemed so important to you. I could just tell when you were talking to them, it wasn't just business as usual. I could see you were like, look, we really want the public to understand this is where it starts. And tell me a little bit, how did you feel when he was asking you that? Were you a little bit nervous? Did you think he was going to put you on the spot? Or, because you didn't look nervous, you never do, but I was nervous. I didn't know what he was going to.
Well, it was probably making my comms group. Anytime there's a press gaggle, you never know what they're going to ask you. There's some event that's going on nationally, or so they were probably nervous, wanting to know what I was going to say and what they were going to have to clean up. But when you're honest and you just say what you know that is truth, that I don't really have anything to be nervous about. I just speak the truth, and I tell people if these issues that I deal with, if all 4 million Oklahomans could sit on the couch in my office and I could go through the issues with them, it's a no-brainer what to do. But politics and money gets involved, and you're upsetting this special interest group or this special interest group. But I always think about the taxpayers and moving forward on them. So that's that issue there. But I told them, listen, when we go through scheduling, there's hundreds of requests every week for the governor to be this place or that place. But I just thought bringing hope inside the prison system. I also last week was down at a prison in Norman, the county sheriff's office, and it was a women's prison where we planted a community garden, and these women are learning to grow vegetables and eat healthier, and that was amazing. I love doing those kind of trips out there to showcase making Oklahoma healthy again. But the fact is, we have about 20,000 people incarcerated in the state of Oklahoma. It's down 22% since I took office. I've closed 4 prisons since I've been governor. And we're number 2 in the country in the lowest recidivism rate. That means people going back into prison. And so part of that is a specific strategy to give hope to people behind the wire that are getting out, and then making sure that they have the skill set and they've got the driver's license and they've got the ability to get their family, their children back from DHS. So this is a strategy we've been working on. But really, I'm trying to also promote organizations like yours that are actually doing the heavy lifting. What I did wasn't hard. You guys were planning and they're teaching them how to set up a business plan. Y'all are doing so much more hard work than I am. Victory Church, they just sent me some information. Paul Doherty and his team, they just ministered to, I think, 1,600 prisoners at a couple different prisoners across the state, and saw something like 300 baptisms and people giving their life to the Lord, and distributed Bibles. And whatever your faith is, obviously we are Christians and we're followers of Christ. But people need that hope, and that there's a reason that we need to get on the right track and do what's right. And God does have a plan and a hope for us. And so I love the fact that I can promote guys like you that are doing the heavy lifting in prisons, providing hope to those people that are incarcerated, that, by the way, are going to get out of prison, in the not so distant future, and we want them to be contributing members of society. So let's train them. Let's give them a skill set. Let's have them be CDL drivers, or electricians, or plumbers, or mechanics, or help them get their bachelor's degree in engineering or A&P mechanics. And so we're trying to bring all those resources to get them back. And if people have hope and you're working and you're part of a team, man, that's the way life is more fun. Everybody would be depressed if I didn't have a job and I'm sitting at home watching TV all day long, right? We need to get them back into the workforce.
Well, you speak of faith, and it draw me to this thought when I'm bored, which is sometimes, I get on your social media feed. Have you ever done that? I don't encourage that, by the way. I would not encourage you to.
Well, do people? I don't read any of those. Are people say bad stuff about me? I don't know.
People just say bad
Governor?
stuff, period. Yeah.
No, come on, Governor. It's mostly compliments, emojis like flowers and attaboys, but every once in a while you get hammered. Every once in a while.
What is there to hammer? What do you not like about what I'm doing? I don't understand.
It's crazy to me too. It's crazy to me too. I don't understand it, but we actually caught some flack on the prison post. I thought, I don't understand. We've got a sitting governor in here helping with inmates and projects. What else can he do? I mean, Lord, you got hammered on the garden planting thing, and I was reading that, and I thought,
what did they say about that one?
Well, I'm pretty sure that I can't even go on to it. I'll let you know soon what they said.
Hey, I promote 3D printed meat. I think that's a great idea.
Well, here's what
3D printed meat? Is that what the
3D printed meat? Like what some people.
Oh, they were poo-pooing the garden. I guess.
Yeah.
But my thing was,
we're tearing up the environment by planting a garden. Okay.
Well,
somebody told them that.
And
online.
Who cares who's planting the garden? As humans, all you guys were talking about is a healthier way to do things. We're trying to get healthy. And I looked at that thinking, if any of these haters looked at your social media ever at all, they would see you out at your own place doing the same thing. You have filmed multiple videos showing progress in your own garden. So it's not like you're trying to say this segment of people need to be planting our gardens. People are crazy, but they'll make something out of nothing. I that moves me right into, you're a very inclusive governor. You mentioned faith. I've never seen you turn away anyone willing to roll up their sleeves and get involved. You never ask them, hey, what church do you go to? Or what do you believe? I think the thought process that you have is, hey, if you want to lock arms and help, we'll do this together. And of course, we're going to talk about being Christians. That's our faith. But we're not going to start sledging away at people that want to get involved. We don't have to agree on everything to agree that we need to partner with each other, love each other, show grace. And I think that that's been kind of like at the tip of your campaign is, hey, I didn't come from politics. I came from the business world where we needed to have relationships. In fact, if I don't have relationships, my company doesn't grow. My team doesn't grow, and we don't make effective decisions. And so I appreciate how inclusive you are. I wanted to talk about, education is something that you have put at the forefront of your strategies, and you've made meaningful changes since you've been governor. And you may know this already, likely you do. There's a pretty big connection between people who end up in prison and their experience in the educational system. I kind of wanted to ask, in a short way, what do you think is left that we really need to do to start moving the needle in a positive direction to maybe lessen that percentage of people that come from a bad educational experience into the prison system?
Yeah. Well, first off, I also want to highlight you cannot underestimate the parental involvement. Right? We have a fatherlessness crisis in the U.S. right now. Kids need their moms and their dads. So part of it is promoting marriage. Part of it is making sure that we have that nucleus family, and maybe sometimes it's a grandmother that's raising the kids. Whatever it is, they need that help to stay engaged in the education system. But you're not wrong. I think a lot about that. I'm taking a trip to Switzerland. I'm the chairman of the National Governors Association. So that's my colleagues, and the Democrat governors and Republican governors have elected me as their chairman. And I'm taking a trip to Switzerland to look at their apprenticeship model. And what I love about these other countries, Germany, Switzerland, is they don't push every kid to go to college. So they don't. Like after your sophomore year, actually Switzerland, after your 10th grade year, you're done with high school. And you have two options. You can either go, if you want to go become an engineer at the University of Oklahoma or their equivalent, you go to your senior year of high school to get you ready for college. If you're ready to go to work, which is the majority of the people, and even parents push their kids to that one, you literally, as a junior and senior, you start working at the Mercedes factory or Lufthansa, or there's even white-collar government jobs that you have an apprenticeship model to. So I'm going over there to look at that, and I want to try to break down these barriers that says every kid's got to go to college. So think about the kid that, for whatever reason, he doesn't like math and he's not good at geometry. And so instead of just beating him over the head, making him feel like a failure as a junior in high school, and then he just stops coming to class and drops out of school and thinks there's no hope because I'm not as smart as this guy or that girl, then we want to say, no. God has designed you for a great career, and here's all these other options. Right here, we're so fortunate in Oklahoma City, we have the FAA Center, Federal Aviation Administration. There's about 1,500 kids of the academy every single year that learn how to be air traffic controllers. You don't need a college degree. You can start at that. You can make over $100,000 a year. It's an amazing job. And I could go on and on with all the different jobs out there. So we want to take the education system, kind of reimagine it, flip it on its head. I was just in Arkansas yesterday and met with a technology group, and they have AI learning that's literally 2 hours a day, that if you're in 6th grade, but you're not reading at a 6th grade level, but we keep putting you in the same class and the teacher keeps giving you 6th grade material, now you make me feel dumb and I'm not caught up. Whatever reason happened, but with AI, I can take you back and I can teach you 1st grade reading phonics and I can bring you back up to speed. So tomorrow, I don't know when this is going to air, but tomorrow I'm going to be announcing my appointment as the new superintendent of education. And so I'm also going to encourage people to say we need this to be a appointed position by the governor. So in other words, everybody thinks that the governor controls education in Oklahoma, but there's a separately elected person that doesn't report to me. And people don't understand that. We need that to be an appointed position by the governor so we can all be aligned to move education forward. It shouldn't be a political position. And so those are some of the changes I want to make over my last 16 months. And I'm fortunate with the resignation of the superintendent of education, now I'm able to appoint a new person, and I'm really excited about it.
Can I ask him a question real quick?
Go ahead.
For young people, when you're talking down that lane in education, right, and you saw what's happening in the prison, right? You saw men that have spent hours with mentors. And so for all the young people listening, what would you say is important? You know, I've got schooling, maybe I've got some parents, but my gifts and talents may not align. A lot of parents, their gifts and talents don't flow directly to the kids, right? You have different interests. How important is personal development on your own time and then finding the right mentors in a young person's life?
I think it's everything. Like, who do you look up to? Who do you aspire to be? And that's where we need to give these young people options, right? And I think about back to my upbringing. My dad was a pastor in Norman. And so I was around all the different people in our church and the local business leaders in Norman. And those were who I aspired to be like. I looked up to them. And I said, I want to be a business person like that person. And I would ask them questions. And so that's a great point. It wasn't necessarily what my father did, but I was able to see that. Why does every little boy, when I was in school, I thought about being a fireman or a police officer because they came to my elementary school. Who are we exposing our young people to right now, right? If you are, so that's why I just think it's important that our career counselors are letting these kids know all these options that are out there. And there are fantastic careers that you can take care of your family. You can chase your American dream. You can have a great, great career in life, finding the niche that you're uniquely designed for. So I think that's important. And I always encourage young people to find a mentor, somebody that you aspire to be like. And then there's pathways. You don't become, if you want to be a heart surgeon, it doesn't all of a sudden happen. You got to start doing good in school this year. But everybody has the same amount of time in the day, and it's how you use that time. I heard one saying that some people can get get a year's worth of work out of a week, and some people get a week's worth of work out of a year. Is that right? Did I say that correctly?
Yeah. Well, and we're going to tie it down real quick. One more question, and you got to do it pretty fast. But to your point, people don't understand how politics work. Right now, one of the comments is, release the Epstein files. I don't think you have those, right? I'm pretty sure that's...
They're telling me to release them?
Yeah, well, that's the nonsense you get. To your point on the education thing, if you could just fix that tomorrow, you'd send a text and fix it. There's a process, and there's other people involved. So people just don't understand it out there, but... Really quickly, you've got a few seconds on this one, and they got to take you. But tell me, just one little time. You're big on faith. You're under immense pressure all the time. What sticks out to you that helps you take your faith and it's anchored you? Is there a situation or a decision you've made to where you thought, I just don't know what to do, and this is going to have to be based on my prayer, my anchor and my faith? Is there something that sticks out to you? A time?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things. I go back to COVID and all the decisions we make during COVID. There's the incarceration issues that are always coming before me, different pardon rules and different things. And so politically, sometimes if you take COVID, for example, that was hard on all leaders. It was hard on business leaders. It was hard, obviously, on government leaders. And if you're not grounded in some principles, then you tend to just go wherever the political winds lead you. And so that was something I'm really proud of because, I don't believe you put the Constitution in the attic just because somebody in Washington, D.C. was telling you to. And you saw states losing their minds. They were shutting churches down. They were masking everybody. They were fining people for leaving their houses. Talk to your friends in California. Talk to your friends in New York, some of these other states. And it was amazing what was happening. So that's just the way I was raised, that the faith, the ultimate, we have to give an account to the decisions we make. Right. And I think when we have that in common, we can make really, really good decisions based on our upbringing, our faith, and we understand that we cannot make everybody happy. Right. And so we have to do what's right for the taxpayers, for the ethics of our society, and for the betterment of the state of Oklahoma. So that's kind of how I focus on it.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Governor, for your time today. Thank you to your team for being so welcoming to us. We want to remind everyone real quick in these last couple of seconds, don't forget to review us. Don't forget to send us questions. Search Get Canceled on iTunes, Spotify, and Tiffany's favorite, iHeart. I don't like iHeart.
Can't make fun of Bryan's pants today.
We appreciate you. Send us reviews. Let us know how we're doing. Send us comments. We don't have the Epstein files. I have no access to those, but everything else.
Nor can the governor do anything about it.
So, and Lord, we usually close in prayer, Kevin. I'll do it real quick. Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for blessing us. Thank you for everything we can do for you. We thank you for the blessings and the protection you give us. We pray right now that with Kevin, that you continue to give him boldness and protection and direction, and keep his family safe and his team as well. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
So
Get canceled.
Yeah.